Welcome to the session on Oracle Retail Merchandising System, Foundation Data, and Items Overview. The organizational hierarchy is used to define the operating reporting structure of a retail organization. At the top is company. There's always one company defined in a single instance of merchandising, and it is the only level that is shared between the organizational and merchandise hierarchies. The organizational hierarchy is often organized by channel, banner, and/or geography. The bottom level of the organizational hierarchy is store. A store is the level of the organizational hierarchy in which business transactions occur, such as sales, receipts, and inventory adjustments. In fact, sales transaction can only be processed for stores. A store can represent either a stock holding or non-stock holding location. Stock holding locations are usually physical store locations where non-stock holding locations can represent an e-commerce site, a call center, or other non-physical locations through which sales are processed. Stores can also be created as either company-owned locations or customer locations to represent franchise or wholesale locations. The warehouse is the entity within merchandising that defines a physical storage, cross-dock, or distribution facility in an organization. Warehouse is not tied to a specific level of the hierarchy. This is because a warehouse can be associated with any level of the hierarchy within a particular retail's environment, depending on how the hierarchy and the supply chain are structured. The level at which a warehouse is associated can vary by warehouse. Like stores, warehouses are also an entity in which inventory transactions occur. A warehouse has all of the transaction capabilities of the store except for sales. Warehouses are set up as both physical and virtual locations. The physical warehouse refers to the building itself. All physical warehouses must have at least one virtual warehouse associated to it, which is where the inventory is managed. The number of the virtual warehouses within a physical building is determined by the retailer. For example, for each channel applicable for the physical building, one or more virtual warehouses may be created. When the transactions such as purchase orders and transfers are created in merchandising, they will be created at the virtual warehouse level. This gives processes like replenishment visibility to inventory by channel. A virtual warehouse can also be designated as an internal finisher, which indicates that it is an area inside the warehouse where activities such as reticketing, merchandising, or ironing occur. A virtual warehouse may be also designated as either an importer to indicate that it can be used as an alternate billing location for import purchase orders. Location lists can be created to group together stores and warehouses in order to be more efficiently executed processes in merchandising, such as item ranging and cost changes. Location lists can be created with both store and warehouse locations. When creating a location list, users can either add locations individually or using criteria, such as location traits, district, or store format. Location lists can be created either as dynamic or static. Dynamic lists are rebuilt periodically via a batch process or online to incorporate new locations that match the criteria defined for the list. For example, if a new store was created and associated to a particular location trait, rebuilding the list that was created using that trait as a criterion would add that new store. Static lists would not be updated based on new locations being created with the location trait. Now we'll turn our attention to merchandising hierarchy, which is the structure used to categorize merchandise and define relationships for product management in merchandising. The merchandise hierarchy is similar in structure to organizational hierarchy in that it relies on top to bottom, one-to-many relationships. As previously mentioned, company is also at the top of the merchandise hierarchy. There is always one company defined in a single instance of merchandising. The next level is division, which is often used to describe a type of merchandise, such as TVs or computers. Below division is group, which be used to further differentiate the merchandise within a division, such as laptop or desktop computers. Next is department, which further defines products in the group and is at the level many attributes are held in the system, such as accounting method, cost versus retail. There's also the ability to configure a number of default for items created in the department at this level. Below department is class, and then finally subclass, which is the lowest level of merchandise hierarchy and the level at which items are attached. A supplier in merchandising is defined as an organization that provides merchandise that is sold in stores. Suppliers are typically created in the retailer's financial system and interface to merchandising, but can also be created directly in merchandising. Merchandising can also be configured by system option to use supplier sites. Supplier sites are used to define individual payment and purchase sites for a main supplier and are used in some financial systems. If the supplier sites are used, most transactions that involve suppliers and merchandisers are done at the supplier site level, with the exception of deals which are at the supplier level. When interfacing with a financial application, many of the key attributes for supplier are provided to merchandising through the integration, such as currency, payment, terms, and addresses. But there are also key attributes that are required by the merchandising system that need to be maintained in merchandising. Some of these are EDI attributes, which indicate which EDI transactions are supported by the supplier, import attributes, such as agents, factories, banks, etc., that are associated with the supplier site. Invoice matching attributes, such as whether invoices and debit memos for supplier site can be auto-approved. A partner is a person or entity that has an association with your organization in various areas of the procurement process. Partners can include those involved in transporting goods, enchantment, providing credit, and providing services. Examples of partners are banks, factories, manufacturers, and external finishers. Most of these partners are used to support importing processes in trade management. For example, deals can be created by manufacturers, distributors, and wholesalers in addition to suppliers. Also, external finishers are used in the transfer process to perform additional services on products. Merchandising uses a flexible data hierarchy for items, with levels that allows merchandising to support items across different retail verticals, such as grocery, fashion, and hardlines, in the same item structure. It also supports a number of different item numbering conventions, including UPC, EAN, and ISBN. Merchandising also has its own unique item numbering structure. The Oracle Retail Item Number is commonly used for the transaction item and any levels above, and the other types representing below transactions, items, or barcodes. The merchandising item structure consists of 3 levels, with one level designated as a transaction level. The transaction level is the level at which all pricing, inventory, and sales transactions take place. This diagram shows how items are typically set up by retailers of various verticals. The red section of the chart includes the transaction level for the different types of items. The different item levels in merchandising can be customized to use terminology specific to an individual retailer. For example, a fashion retailer may use all 3 levels and name level 1 style, level 2 SKU, and level 3 barcode. A hardline retailer commonly only uses 2 levels and may name them SKU and barcode. A retailer may use either or both configurations. A differentiator, or diff, is a characteristic that can be used to make items distinct from one another, such as color, size, or flavor. Diffs are usually used in merchandising to create level 2 items based on their differentiated characteristics from the level 1 item. Up to 4 diffs can be defined for each level 2 item. Merchandising supports multiple groupings for diff. Some are required, others are used to enhance reporting or streamline purchasing. Diff types are used to categorize differentiators. Example of a diff type are size, color, scent, pattern, etc. Diff IDs are the specific differentiators for each type, such as blue, red, green for the color diff type. Diff types are a set of diff IDs defined for a specific business process. For example, a diff group might be created for denim colors or yogurt flavors. Diff groups are assigned to level 1 items. To limit the diffs within diff types can also be assigned to level 2 items. Diff ranges are used to further group diff IDs within a diff group. For example, within the diff group sweater colors, a range could be defined for all fall sweater colors. Pack items are a method of tracking multiple items under a single item. Packs may be created to simplify the ordering process, sell multiple items under a single price, or some combination of these two concepts. Packs in merchandising can be indicated as sellable, order, or both. Orderable packs can be defined as either vendor or buyer packs. Buyer packs are for internal use only, whereas vendor packs would also be used and known to the vendor. Merchandising supports two types of packs. Simple, which are simple packs contain multiples of a single item and are always orderable vendor packs, but may also optionally be classified as sellable. Complex packs contain multiple component items, which can include component pack items. Complex packs can be sellable, orderable, or both. This table shows the functionality allowed for each of the pack types. Merchandising also supports several other special types of items, including catch weight, deposit, consignment, concession, and transformable items. Catch weight items are used to manage products where a retailer is ordering a product of a normal weight, for example 20 pounds of apples, but typically paying the vendor by the weight of the product received, which could be 20.1 pounds of apples. A transformable item is an item that can be ordered as one item and then broken into small items to be sold in stores. An example of this would be a side of beef transformed into steaks. A transformable item may also be a catch weight item. A deposit item is an item that is a portion which is returned by the customer after it has been sold, such as milk, where the milk bottles are returned to the retailer. A deposit is taken from the customer for the refundable portion. A deposit item is broken into components of the item, and each item is tracked separately in merchandising. Types of deposit items supported contents, which are items, container items, crate, item, and returned item. A consignment item is a marketing arrangement where physical control of merchandise, but not the title of ownership, is transferred from the consignor to the consignee. The title to the goods remains with the consignor until the goods are sold. Upon the goods being sold, the consignor bills the consignee via an invoice. A concession item is similar to a consignment item in that the retailer does not own the inventory being sold. However, for concession, the ownership is not transferred when the items are sold. A retailer rents floor space to a supplier on which the supplier sells their goods. A record of concession sales is recorded and the retailer then bills the supplier using their chosen method. Some additional key item concepts that apply to all types of items are described on this slide. First is the creation of the item-supplier relationship. One or more suppliers can be associated with each item with one supplier designated as the primary. Additionally, for each item supplier, a country of sourcing and manufacture is also assigned. A country must be assigned as a primary for both relationships. Additionally, the country of sourcing is the level at which key item supplier attributes are used in ordering and inventory management processes and merchandising, such as unit cost, pack size, and lead time. Retail zones are a method of grouping locations together for pricing purposes. One zone will always be designated as the primary for an item, which will control the retail price of inventory locations not belonging to a zone. Initial price is the set in merchandising when an item is created, but thereafter it is maintained in pricing. Item location relationships are created to indicate which stores and warehouses an item will be carried. This is also the level at which inventory information is held in merchandising. There are many different ways to assign attributes to items in merchandising, but most of them are predefined by the system. User-defined attributes, or UDAs, are different in that they are defined by end users. Merchandising supports three types of UDAs: list of values, date, and freeform text. UDAs can also be assigned at the department, class, and subclass levels in order to default or require attributes to the item level. Item reclassification allows users to move an item from one department, class, subclass to another. The actual reclassification is done by a batch process based on a future effective date. When an item is reclassified, in addition to updating the item information, the following updates are made. The inventory value of the merchandising is removed from the old department subclass to the new department class subclass in the stock ledger. Sales history is held in merchandising at the item location level, but also rolled up to the department class and subclass level. When a reclassification occurs, optional batch programs can be used to rebuild the roll-up to sales history. Open to buy records are updated for all orders that are approved but have not yet been received. And if the item is forecastable and the new hierarchy value moves the item to a new forecast domain, then the indicator is reset for the item at the item store level to resend dated RDF. Reclassification is not allowed for items in certain situations, such as moving from a consignment department to a non-consignment department. Item appears on an approved, partially received order. The item is on an active unit and value stock, or the item has missing attributes that are required in the new department subclass. Similar to location lists, item lists can be created to group together items in order to be more efficiently execute processes in merchandising, such as amass item maintenance, order creation, or cost changes. Item lists can be created with any types of items, either by adding specific items to the list or by using item criteria, such as department class, subclass, supplier, or UDAs. Item lists can also be created as either dynamic or static. Dynamic lists can be rebuilt online prior to incorporating new items that match the criteria for the list. For example, if a new item was created for a supplier for which the list was created, rebuilding the list would add that new item to the list. Static lists would not be updated based on the new items being created for a supplier. Item induction functionality in merchandising is an alternative way to enter items in merchandising, other than the merchandising screens. Many retailers initiate item creation in systems outside merchandising, such as an assortment planning application, or receive item information from an external source, such as a supplier. This flexible framework supports the ability to receive item information from a number of different sources, including manually uploading from a spreadsheet, but also provides the ability to stage item data from these other sources so that it can be built slowly over time before becoming an approved item in the merchandising system. When using the item induction functionality, users are given the option to upload items directly to merchandising or of holding them in a staging area for further enrichment. This feature provides flexibility for retailers, as often external sources cannot provide all required attributes required for the creation of an approved item. For example, items inducted from a vendor likely would not include the retailer's department class and subclass for the item. This functionality supports both new item creation as well as the ability to download items that have already been created in merchandising for mass maintenance, or the ability to upload updates from an external source. Item induction uses templates for both automated integrations with other systems as well as manual updates and downloads of data. This allows retailers to configure the data being uploaded or downloaded to meet their technical or business needs based on the source of destination. Item induction also supports an integrated workflow with Oracle Retail Assortment Planning, which includes the ability for AP to request item numbers for merchandising. Within merchandising, screens are available for users to monitor the process of uploads and give visibility to errors that occur during the upload process in order to resolve the data issues and reprocess the data. This concludes our session on retail merchandising with a focus on foundation data and item overview.